Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to present today. My name is Nazwa Shaniza Khailani, and I'm pleased to be discussing a consort-based critical appraisal of a randomized controlled trial. The study I'll be presenting is titled Impact of Physical Exercise on Depression and Anxiety in Adolescents. In patients, a randomized controlled trial conducted by Philippot and colleagues and published in 2023. Let me start by outlining the structure of my presentation. First, I will briefly explain the purpose and structure of the Concert 2010 checklist. Next, I'll guide you through each section of the checklist, highlighting how well the article aligns with the reporting standards. And finally, I'll conclude with a summary of the article's strength and limitation from a concert perspective. My aim is to demonstrate how this framework allows us to critically evaluate the quality and transparency of a clinical trial. So, what exactly is CONCERT? CONCERT is um, stands for Consolidated Standards of Reporting Trials. It's an evidence-based set of recommendations designed to improve the reporting quality of randomized controlled trials. The 2010 version includes 25 key items across 6 domains: title and abstract, introduction, methods, results, discussion, and other informations. Let's now take a closer look at how this article performs in each domain. Section 1 is title and abstract. Let's begin with the title and abstract. So, item 1A is identification as an RCD in the title. The title clearly identifies the study as a randomized controlled trial, which facilitates recognition by readers and indexing service. And item 1B is the abstract, is well structured, covering the background, methods, results, and conclusion meetings, consort's expectations. And section 2 is introduction. Moving on to the introduction. Item 2A is scientific backgrounds and rationale. The authors provide a strong rationale. They highlight the vulnerability of adolescent in patients to depression and anxiety and suggest physical exercise as a promising non-pharmacological intervention. And item 2B is specific to objective. The study objective is clearly stated to assess the effectiveness of a structured exercise program in reducing symptoms of depression and anxiety among adolescent inpatients. Section 3 is methods. Now let's examine the methodology. First of all, there is item 3A, description of trial design. About 3A, the study is described as a parallel group randomized controlled trial, which is appropriate for the research question. Item 3B is any change to methods. Uh, No modification to the methods were reported after the trial began. Item 4A is eligibility criteria. The participants were adolescents aged 13 to 18 with clinically significant symptoms of depression and or anxiety. Item 4B is settings and location. The recruitment took place in a psychiatric inpatient unit in Belgium. Now is for the intervention and outcomes. Item 5, intervention description of trial design. The intervention group received structured physical exercise sessions, while the control group received standard inpatient care. Frequency and session duration are reported clearly. Item 6A is specified outcomes. The primary outcomes, like depression and anxiety, were measured using the CDI and SDAIC scales. And item 6B is change to outcomes. There were no post hoc change to the specified outcomes. Then there is sample size and randomization. In item 7A is sample size calculation description of trial designs. Oh, sorry. The authors report a power-based sample size calculation enhancing the validity of their findings. Item 7B is interim analysis. There is no mention of interim analysis of predefined stopping rows. Item 8A, sequence generation. Random sequence generation was done by a computer. Item 8B, type of randomization. A stratified randomization approach using permuted blocks was applied to ensure balance across groups. And the next is interventions and outcomes. Item 9 is allocation concealment. Allocation concealment was implemented using sealed envelopes, a method known to reduce selection bias. Item 10 is implementation, the sequence generation, participant enrollment, and intervention assignment procedures are clearly detailed. Sorry. Item 11A is blinding. Given the nature of the intervention, blinding participants and providers was not feasible. However, outcome assessors were blinded. Item 11B, similarity of interventions. This item is not applicable as the interventions were inherently different. Item 12A and 12B is statistical methods. The statistical methods are thoroughly explained. including handling of covariates and analysis of secondary outcomes. The next the next slide is about results. Results flow, recruitment, and baseline. So item 13 is participant flow. A participant flow diagram is included, clearly outlining recruitment, allocation, follow-up, and analysis. Item 40 is recruitment. Recruitment occurred over a specified time period with no premature trial terminations. Item 15 is baseline data. Baseline characteristics are well documented and appear balanced between groups. Item 16 is numbers analyzed. An intention to treat approachment was used, including all randomized participants in the final analysis. And the next slide is results, outcomes, and harms. Item 17 is outcomes and estimation. The main outcomes levels of depression and anxiety are reported clearly with corresponding confidence intervals and p-values. 18, item 18 is ancillary analysis. Subgroup analysis by sex are included, though the authors label them as exploratory. And item 19 is harms. Importantly, no significant harms or adverse events were reported, an essential consideration in trials involving vulnerable populations. Now we go to the discussion slide. Now consider the discussion section. Item 20 is limitations. As limitations are transparently acknowledged, including the relatively small sample size, single center setting, and absence of long-term follow-up. Item 21 is generalizability. The findings are somewhat general, generalizable to similar inpatient psychiatric context, though external validity is limited. Item 22 is interpretation. The interpretation is balanced. The authors highlight potential clinical benefits of exercise while cautioning against overgeneralization. Now we're in the conclusion slide. In conclusion, this randomized controlled trial demonstrates strong adherence to the CONSORT 2010 checklist, with most items including trial design, participant flow, statistical methods, and outcome reporting clearly and transparently addressed. The study offers valuable insights into the potential benefits of structured physical exercise as an adjunctive treatment for adolescents in patients with depression and anxiety. Nonetheless, certain limitations, such as the lack of long-term follow-up, limited generalizability, and absence of protocol availability, should be taken into account when interpreting the findings. Overall, the article provides a well-structured and methodologically sound report, making it a useful reference for both clinical application and academic appraisal. Thank you for your time. that's the end of the slide. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.